ShredMentor Challenge of the Day number 128, the pedal point etude. Here's how it goes. Alright, so lots and lots of pedal point. Your pinky plays literally every other note in this. The big difference here is going to be in the way that the voicings move around. We're basically dealing with a bunch of different voicings of arpeggios with a couple of scale notes thrown in to kind of aid the melody along. Alright, so I'm gonna provide tab to this, but ultimately we're kind of hinting at different arpeggios as we go through this. And my goal with this is not just to show you this cool thing I wrote. It is to show you how I wrote it in the first place and how you can also apply this kind of technique to anything you want to write in your own solos, because I'm much more interested in you getting something out of this personal rather than just another person learning my little etude, because that's not really the goal in an etude. It's a study. That's what the word etude really means, is study, and it's ultimately a way to put these different things together, and there's a lot involved in this one. So again, that's why I'm going to provide tab with this one. You can go ahead and check that out in the description. But ultimately, I'm starting off with two different arpeggios. And since there is tab in this, I'm not going to get too much into every single note I play. I'm just going to play through it and show you how each phrase kind of lines up to the harmony of a certain note. All right, so in the first two phrases, and this, it's all about an E minor. The harmony's all around that E, because it's basically the fifth, root, and third here, and here we have again the root, third, and fifth. All right, so then I'm going to jump over to the next one. It's kind of, both of them are around C major. It's the C Lydian kind of sound, the whole Okay, the next thing I do is actually a little bit of a borrowed chord from the A minor scale, which is F. All right. Then I immediately sharpen that to F sharp, which is almost kind of like a D7 without the D in it. Or we could also think of it just simply as an F sharp diminished 7. Sorry, not diminished 7, just diminished, F sharp diminished. Then we're going to go with more of a D7 this time. The B is just thrown in there. I don't know what that, I don't really know what chord that becomes, but it's really about a D7. Here's your D, here's its third, here's its flat 7. There's just a B in there too. No A, no 5. Okay, so the next one, I'm switching out the F sharp, leaving the other three notes in place, and using a G. This is the root, third, fourth, and fifth. Now I'm sharpening the G to a G sharp, and now I'm borrowing from the A harmonic minor scale. And now I'm going to re-voice that to make it an E7. Okay, so here's your root, there's your 7, there's your 5, and there's your third. So that's basically, it's a specific, it's their second inversion, basically. Or sorry, your first inversion. Root, third, fifth, 7th. So now, since I'm hitting that E, I'm going to reuse that again as part of an A minor add 9. Root, fifth, third, fifth, second, fifth, third, fifth. Now I'm going to stay at A, and I'm going to do a slightly different variation on that. Root, fifth, fourth, fifth, third, fifth, fourth, fifth. All right, so the first time it's, then the second. So I'm kind of moving part of the melody up in the middle with the same pedal tone each time. It's for a little bit of a sense of ascending, but subtly. All right, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow a note from outside the key, which is sort of like Hungarian minor for a second, and I'm using the B flat with the second root and raise 7, and then that's sort of a leading tone into the B there. So I'm starting on B, but immediately descending from the high G, from the harmonic minor scale down to the F sharp and back up to the B. And that's the final note. I wrote this a long time ago, and there was a point when I would end it a little bit differently. Not really differently, I would just repeat that last phrase a couple times. So once I'd get out to the... Since the very last note is B and the very first note of the last phrase is also B, I just used that to loop right back into itself a few times. So when I would play the whole entire etude a couple of times, the very last time I would play it, I would actually do that like 3 or 4 times and never really solidified it. But that's just, it's more, again, today is more about how you would write a piece. This is a little bit more like how you might write an entire solo from the melody first in this particular case. Although you can really kind of follow a chord progression if you already have one too. It's just you kind of have to think about your chords from each of the inversions. Where can I access the notes of this chord from near where I am right now? And there's a good chance that pretty much anywhere at any position of the fretboard, you're really close to some version of that where you can use this. And in this case, I'm just using pedal point as, well, it's a very good pinky strengthener for one, but it's just it's a melodic device, and so you can pretty much use that anytime you want. Just, I would recommend that the note that you're repeating in each arpeggio is part of your actual chord, or sorry, the note that you're repeating in your scale rather is part of the chord, and because if it isn't, it's going to become part of the chord because you're playing it over the chord. So it's new chord now, contains your note either way, but ultimately we want to kind of try to target the notes that are already in the chord that we're trying to harmonize within. So hopefully that makes sense. Feel free to watch this as many times as you want. And again, the tab is in the description. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, by the way, ShredMentor. And same thing on Facebook. But anyway, give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And you give it a try. And I'll see you again tomorrow.